The George R. Richardson Conservation Award of Honor recognizes one individual who has demonstrated significant leadership, accomplishment, and dedication to the health of the watershed and/or the field of conservation. The award has a rich history of past winners, beginning with George Richardson himself. Fondly known as Mr. Conservation, he was a long-standing leader in our watershed community for more than 32 years. He served on our board of directors for the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority and was a longtime member of the Lake Simcoe Conservation Foundation Board of Directors. He's also received an environmental award from the town of Newmarket, a Conservation Ontario Conservation Pioneer Award, and a Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal. A true conservationist, George Richardson was central into forging alliances and supporting staff as they worked to protect and restore the health and quality of Lake Simcoe and its watershed. This year, it is my tremendous pleasure to announce the 2018 George R. Richardson Conservation Award of Honor to Sylvia Bowman. Congratulations, Sylvia.
I'm really excited for my mom to receive the award. I think that it's really great to recognize someone like her who's put so many years in of volunteer work and just worked so hard to protect the environment.
I nominated Sylvia Bowman because she's an amazing lady as far as the environment. She's been very, very busy for many, many years. I first met Sylvia walking through a hardwood bush one day, and we got talking about the trees and the animals. We were looking at animal footprints and listening to the birds. And 37 years later, here we are still talking about the important things that Sylvia does in our community. Sylvia's been involved in a variety of activities and organizations in our community. York Simper Nature Club, Save the Oak Ridges Moraine Coalition, past member of the Town of East Gwillimbury's Active Transportation and Trails Committee, member of the Maskinage River Recovery Project Committee, Scanlon Creek Collaborative and Friends of Scanlon Creek Committee. She's also the past director of Huronia Regional Director for Ontario Nature and the past York Region Environmental Alliance member.
I've known Sylvia Bowman for over 10 years, and she is such a dedicated volunteer. She's always one that's willing to lend a hand, whether it's a tree planting event or pulling weeds or participating in a community event to promote activities. She's such a passionate volunteer and always willing to lend a hand.
Well, part of what inspired me to become more involved actually was my daughter, because she is now has a career in the environmental sector.
So for as long as I can remember, my mother has been really active in the community. People may or may not know that for many, many years she was a nurse. She was a public health nurse. She worked with seniors, and she's always had this incredible empathy for other people, and that empathy includes the natural world. And as I got older, she got even more engaged and served on numerous different boards of environmental organizations for many, many years. Most people take on one board position, and that's more than enough to keep them busy, but for my mother, she tended to say yes when people were looking for board members, and the better she became at being a board member, the more people asked her, and she was always up for the challenge. There are so many different ways in which I think my mother's work will affect future generations. She's done so much hard work on stewardship in Ontario nature reserves and even on this property. People might not know, but most of the trees on the front of the property she planted with my father when the year before I was born. So it's well over 100 trees at the front of the property, and that's just something that she's always cared about, is stewardship.